It's the Weekend Sports Buzz with Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker.
Big boys are called big boys for a reason. Y'all small fries. Y'all pups. Stay on the porch, little boys, because y'all not ready to run the streets with the big dogs. Y'all not. To think y'all going to do something or have been doing something because you beat up on the 2-5 South Florida, you're deceiving yourself. You know, understand you're 7-0. You're pounding your chest a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You're feeling good. You're smelling yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're beating up on the 2-5 South Florida. You beat up on the 0-7 Southern Miss. You beat up on the 2-6 Missouri State. But look who you're playing. These teams don't even deserve to be in a BCS type team. Matter of fact, they not. Southern Miss is not a BCS type team. Missouri State is not a BCS type team. But you're beating up on them and think you're doing something? Really? Stop it, little fans. Your team's not that good. You're 7-0 because you play these mediocre teams. You play these non-BCS teams. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't brag about beating FIU, who's 1-7. I wouldn't brag about beating Missouri State, who's 2-6. I wouldn't brag about being South Florida, who's 2-5. These teams are not worth bragging. I ain't worth opening your mouth. Talking about you're 7-0. Now, if you go out winning y'all outright conference and play a good team in the Orange Bowl, then you have something to say. And if you beat the team, you really have something to say. But until you do something like that, you're not good. You beat up on the mediocre schedule in your mediocre conference. Your conference is terrible. That's why they don't even respect you enough to even invite you to a real conference. Little fans, you not only got beat out by West Virginia to go to and represent the Big East in the Orange Bowl, you got beat out by moving to a grown man conference because you're not good enough. Your tradition, you don't have a football tradition. You have a few good years here and there and think you did something. So then you brag about, well, we went to Fiesta Bowl under Howard Snellenberger. Well, the only reason why you went to Fiesta Bowl is because other teams didn't go because they didn't celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday. They didn't recognize it. So yeah, so you was invited just as a substitute. You a second string. You a backup plan, Louisville. Not just like the coaches that come through. They look at you as a stepping stone. You an internship. They come in there, do their time, and they move on to their real careers. You the paper boys. Paper boys instead of being the editor, instead of being the head writer, instead of being the columnist. You the paper boy. You out there throwing the papers on the line. Why don't you be the columnist? Why don't you be the editor instead of being a second string? You the backup plan when you go to the club for last call and you don't pull nothing up out of the club. You the fat chick that we got to take home because nothing else left in the joint. Louisville sucks. Later, baby.
Welcome into the Weekend Sports Buzz, and very interesting intro there to get the show going. I'm pretty sure that was more of a line of a shot towards Hink, considering the Cardinals mark are 8-0, buddy.
8-0 is 8-0 on Mars. It's 8-0 on Pluto. And a Miami fan, a Kentucky fan, a guy who has split alliances is calling in and going on rants and saying, oh, you know, you're not this, you're not that, you're a junior college. Well, guess what? Junior college is 8-0. Junior college got triple the endowment of the University of Kentucky. Junior college, the backup plan, only cured the first ever vaccine for cancer, invented an artificial heart, did an artificial hand transplant, and is 8-0, top 15 in the BCS. Oh, my God. You can play all day long, but you know what? When it comes down to it, University of Kentucky's 1-6, Hink, and you're going to go 1-7 today, and you know what? If you want to celebrate, being the nail,
we will.
When you want to celebrate that hammer, hey, you go ahead, man.
This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Day. I cannot believe that Matt McCarthy opened up the show with that. You know you're poking a bear. You know that you're poking a bear. And you know what's going to happen is that somebody's going to call, and you know what he's going to call, and you know he's going to be on the diatribe and the soapbox and the filibuster. I don't want to hear any filibuster, Hink. I'm sorry. I don't. Because you can say stuff all day long. 8-0. That's all I got for you. You can say stuff all day long. 8-0. Miami, nothing. They got run out the door twice.
You guys
Kentucky, seriously?
You all right,
is
Mark?
it basketball season yet?
It is.
Fantastic.
Same for
Now
your
we can
number
start
one
talking about
cards.
basketball,
Number 2
and then
cards.
Let's sweep football in the row. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. And guess what? 8-0.
There you go.
Mark just completely flipped it.
Are you good to go?
I'm good.
You got an hour and a half left?
I'm good. Hour and a half.
You got it out?
Hour 50.
No more crazy rants?
I'm good to go.
I knew that's fine. I'll let you go.
Good to go.
I
I got 2 hours of sleep.
Let's do it. This is
I'm
Mark
ready.
Blankenbaker. I am Tyler Boyd, the Weekend Sports Buzz. Obviously, we started out with the blatant shots towards Louisville in the participation of they are 8-0, moving on. Yes, I know their schedule sucks. Yes, I know they haven't played anybody, but they've won the games. This is coming from a Kentucky fan. Mark, you've won the games in Louisville. All the close games they've won. They built I guess a winning type of swagger.
Absolutely.
I'll give your team a congratulatory clap.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
I can give you credit when credit's due. I don't care if your schedule is the worst. The worst.
Well,
but I don't care. I really don't.
Well, here's
You're
the deal.
8-0.
Here's the deal on that is 8-0 is 8-0. And
Exactly.
you don't think that Louisville would love to have a more robust schedule right now? I was in Tom Jernish's press conference. It was a 45-minute press conference. Okay, at times it felt like it just would never end. But you know what? We got a lot out of it. What he said was that football scheduling is the hardest part of his job. He called Michigan when they opened up. They had a series dropped by Vanderbilt. They hadn't called him back. He tried, he's had series dropped by
that's the Louisville
Georgia.
effect. Nobody wants to play Louisville.
Nobody wants to play Louisville because you know what? On
Louisville.
It's like, okay, if they beat us, then people are pissed off, and we beat them. We should have beat them. But you know what? The fact of the matter is that they're good enough to beat you. But at this point, we don't want to be beaten by them, but we don't want to rank them. So we respect them enough to not play them, but we don't respect them enough to rank them. And that's where Louisville is right now, is they're in the middle. So what's going to happen is they're going to finish the season probably 10-2, 11-1, 12-0. I don't know. But
I don't see any worse than 11-1.
I
honestly don't think.
I know.
I know you're going to Rutgers. That could be the mark of one.
Because they have great defense.
I'm favoring Louisville in every game. I don't care.
You're going to go to a BCS game, and everybody's going to still wonder who's Louisville. So is that really great? Because last year everybody was down and out about West Virginia, and then they blew the doors off Clemson. Everybody wants to forget about that. Every single college football season starts, and it doesn't matter how it ends. If the Big East Conference blows the doors off some ACC, Big 12, or SEC team in the BCS game that they get to play in, they have amnesia. It's like they have Alzheimer's. All of a sudden, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Alabama ranked up in the top 25 regardless of their roster or their prospects for the season. It's just like, and Louisville's terrible.
Yeah, well,
terrible.
I honestly think if Louisville did have to come in, I think you would agree if they did come into the SEC, they would not be 8-0 or even near 7-1.
The SEC? No, I mean they
depending on their scheduling. If they have to play Alabama, if they're in the West, they're going to lose at least 2 games. Then you're going to have to come over and play. You're going to lose to LSU. You're going to lose to Alabama.
I would love to get some LSU.
You're going to come and play an SEC East team in Carolina or Georgia each year. You're going to lose to that team this year for sure. I'm sorry.
I would love to play every
Florida
team.
would run you out the door.
No, I would love to play Florida.
Way too fast. Way too.
I would love to play all those teams, and the reason
you would love to play anybody. I would love to play USC just to go out to California. Okay.
I honestly, I think that this team would compete in the East. I think it would. I think it would compete in the West, except every single team except for Alabama.
I doubt that. We'll talk a little bit. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about last night's game, Mark. Big win for them, 34-31 in overtime. I mean, obviously they were up at they were down at halftime. Excuse me, they were down at halftime. They put on another good third quarter, as they've done generally all season, and then fourth quarter, no points. How excited? No, overtime. Sorry, I was looking at overtime. Fourth quarter, you 14-7. You took it to OT. Late comeback. There we go. We can't hear Mark here. We'll get you in. We'll get you back in here.
All right, buddy. Oh, there I am.
We'll get you.
It's amazing. No, you know what happened was Teddy Bridgewater. You know what I mean? 416 yards passing.
He munched on those Legos.
He munched on those Legos. He hit Damian Copeland from the goal line, and I think that was really the turning point for me was he was backed up in the goal line, threw the ball 60 yards in the air on a dime to Damian Copeland, the honey mustard honey badger. He always makes those sideline catches, deep ones when they're backed up, and then the long one to Devontae Parker that really broke the game over. It looked like it was the game winner.
It was a great catch. The kid, Devontae Parker, that shows that his talent, where his talent could be down the road. Very great catch, and then obviously they went to replay. I know before the show started, Mark, we talked about a very crucial play that could have been a change in the game.
Yeah.
Early, Cincinnati didn't intercept. Obviously, it wasn't,
right.
But we went back to replay, and it looked like he intercepted that ball in the end zone.
Right. It was very understated in the broadcast. I was actually at the game, and at the game, everybody kind of saw him, go incomplete. And I think a lot of people in the press box thought, hey, he was out of bounds because it was kind of along that back boundary.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and look at that play for Cincinnati, it looked like they intercepted the ball, and it was not reviewed, and it was just like swept under the rug.
The commentators, I was sitting at home on the couch enjoying the non-rain, and I saw the commentators, both of them, that he was a good call, refs, blah, 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 blah. Terrible call.
Right.
Just man up, commentator, and say that was an interception. If you can't tell by that camera angle that you're looking at, zoomed in, that he caught that ball, then you shouldn't have that job. I'm sorry.
If nothing else, the Cincinnati coaches in the box should have signaled down to say, hey, look, let's review this because, the call on the field was an incomplete pass. Well, that's why Louisville ran to the line of scrimmage.
Louisville came down and scored.
And snapped the ball, though.
Yeah.
Because if you ever see Louisville run up to the ball, to the line of scrimmage to snap quick.
Something sketchy.
Because they don't do that.
They never do that,
unless it's 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
And so, they're doing that, with plenty of time on the clock.
Now, the defense. How about your defense? We're going to talk a little bit about Teddy and Lego here in a moment, but what about your defense last night?
The defense.
Improvement?
The defense,
to me,
they only gave up 350 yards. They got 3 interceptions, which doubled their interception total on the season.
Maybe some dumb passes by Munchie.
Really bad because there probably were 6 interceptable balls during the game.
Yeah.
But they ended up with 3. One of the things is about Munchie is that he just couldn't he couldn't throw the ball at all. But the run defense for Louisville right now with a mobile quarterback is tough.
It is tough. They can spread it out.
Because Louisville goes into the wide 9 defense. They put their defensive ends way out, and then they contain with their corners. There's so much running room between the tackles that, you look at, George Wynn for last night, 26 carries, 125 yards. You wonder actually why they threw the ball 28 times. So Louisville, they do what they need to do on defense to win. Sometimes they give up some nonsensical drives. They're just long, drawn-out drives, but what they're not giving up is that huge play. All year, they're not giving up the deep pass. They're not giving up the long run. They're giving up 10 to 12-yard scoring drives, which is frustrating, but in the end, you're making a team kind of dink and dunk down the field and make a mistake, and maybe they make a mistake on first or second down, and then you get the third, and then you get off the field. Yeah,
for sure. I'm looking at some stats. I talked about it with Montrell yesterday. I really did. I knew by watching Cincinnati over the season that they had some secondary issues. Louisville took well advantage of that. 416 passing yards.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Yeah, and last night Teddy Bridgewater moved into number 10 all-time in career yardage with 5 games to go in his sophomore season. He passed Benny Russell, who I believe played in the 60s, and he's only got 110 yards to pass Browning Nagel for 9th.
And you'll expect Teddy to be around for another year, I'd say.
Well, he has to be around till
at least 3
next
years.
Year. So,
that's right, the rule.
So, you're looking at a guy right now that's something special. I mean, you're looking at a guy that with 5 games remaining in his second year in college is already going to break it, probably the top 5 in Louisville football yardage totals in his career. So Teddy Bridgewater is amazing, and I don't care if you're not a Louisville fan or not.
I like Teddy. He's a good kid.
He's incredible to watch play, and I think that's a big part of why 53,271 people braved the wind, the cold, the rain, and
very good showing by your Card Nation, Mark. You were very happy. I know the whiteout doesn't really work because nobody owns 53,000 white jackets.
Nobody owns. I mean, that was like the worst marketing.
You were happy the fans showed up because you're fair weather fans.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville fan base is extremely touchy. They leave early in the fourth quarter. They didn't do that.
Nope.
They didn't do that yesterday. They didn't wear white, but who has a white jacket? Okay,
Exactly.
And especially in 24-hour notice. Less than that probably.
I would have liked to see the university give a bigger notice for something like that. I'm not talking about so people go buy a white jacket, but
they could plan.
Just so they could plan out a little bit more. I mean, a white poncho might not be that hard.
Maybe white poncho is not hard to find, but you know what? Maybe you couldn't get to the store in 24 hours. Maybe you had maybe a dance recital.
Maybe so.
Maybe a little league game.
Maybe so.
Know.
Maybe they wanted to watch Kentucky All Access.
Maybe, and that
maybe
was,
so.
It's a great show. But,
excellent. We'll talk about that later because people are mad.
Oh, about the recruiting advantage?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I think that's stupid.
Well, yeah, that is very stupid. The Teddy game, obviously, if you all want to get in and talk about this, Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line 384-1450. Lotus Gunworks text line 414-1450. We do have some guests coming up in our show today at 9:30. Bellarmine head coach Scotty Davenport. Great guy, been around the program for a while now. He's going to come on and join us, talk a little bit about that championship run maybe he had 2 years ago, a little bit about what's coming up for this year's team. Mark, if I'm correct, they are practicing in the Yum Center this morning. They're wrapping up right around now. They got a little Yum Center practice in, and of course we'll ask him about Reese Gaines joining the staff, former Cardinal great.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love seeing Reese walking around. Even at U of L, you kind of see him kind of popping in, popping out. And at Bellarmine, I've been on campus a couple times, and I've seen Reese, and it's just good to kind of see little Reese Gaines popping around. And I know
little Reese Gaines.
I know that Scotty Davenport is going to have the nights stacked. For this coming season.
He always does.
I know that the season tickets are sold out.
I do want to know why Braden
like
Hobbs left. I'm going to ask him that. I want to know why Braden Hobbs left.
Ask him, but I know the tickets to go to a Bellarmine basketball game are really difficult to find.
Really, it is always packed,
and it's amazing. You go down to the Highlands. Go to Shenanigans before.
I know your
family after the game
with Bellarmine, so you've been to multiple basketball games in your time. So it's a good. I've never been to a Bellarmine basketball game. I really haven't. I hear from all my friends to say fun environment. It really is one of those D2 small Duke gym type environments.
It's smaller than Duke, but yes.
I just like to harp on Duke's 8,000 fans.
The students are 100% behind their nights, and so that makes it.
Louisville scrimmage Bellarmine, if I'm correct.
They do.
They do.
In the Yum Center, I think it's their second scrimmage. We play Pikeville first, where we're going to give Elijah Justice his Final Four ring.
Ooh. That's a cute ring.
Yeah. I think you all handed them out last year, and you all are excited.
Yeah, then we handed out the national championship this year.
Yeah.
We like to.
Yeah, and guess what? You go Final Four, national championship now, Louisville. Final Four,
Elite
National
Eight.
Championship.
Final Four, Elite Eight.
Yeah, I know what you said, but you know what? It's going to happen. The AP poll came out, and it's exciting. I know the truth's pumped.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Number 1,
1, 2, and 3.
Indiana.
Does it get any better than that? We need to throw a little Cincinnati in there, I think, to maybe kind of round out.
Number 25.
Right, but I'm saying if we could get up to number 4, that would be best. Well, what's going on, Mick Cronin? Get it together.
Mick Cronin, he has one of my favorite quotes ever. I'm the only coach in America to have white guys that can't shoot. Great quote.
Oh, yeah.
Great quote. And also, Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine at 10:20, talking to Dave about all the high school sports talk going on. A bowling tournament we're going to go participate in here soon. A Dixie Bowl, little high school kickoff. It's going to be fun.
When is that?
It's a couple Saturdays away, Mark.
Oh, well,
we're going to force you to go.
Thanks for the invite.
Well, luckily you haven't been around the studio in about 3 months, so we haven't been able to talk to you much.
3 months?
Anyway, let's get to our break now. We're going to come back, talk a little bit about local maybe basketball, and lead into Scotty Davenport next segment. So this is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Stick with us.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Honey got a sexy on steaming. She give my hotness a new meaning. Perfection, mommy, you gleaming. Inception, you got above a dreaming.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Give us a shout if y'all want to talk. We had a text come in from John Coffey, a.k.a. J.D. Coffey, on the inside of the press box. He said, "Oh, Ty-Ty, he likes to make fun of my name, calls me Ty-Ty." Thanks, John.
Right. If you want to send us a text, it's 414-1450. If you want to get in on the Lotus Gunworks text line. Yeah, we'd love to hear your text. It's passive aggressive.
Matt a text.
It can be your passive aggressive, towards us. If you don't want to call and say, you don't want to say Mark's an idiot, to me on the air. You could just do it on text.
You gotta be calm.
Or read it.
You can really shoot me if you don't like Matt's producer songs or any kind of selection rejoins.
I like that one.
I did like that one. You can shoot him a text 414-1450. Let him know.
Adam picked that one out though. I'm almost positive.
I guess I really never know anymore. Both Adam and. Yeah, probably so. What are you saying?
Adam's got soul.
Matt does not.
2 left feet.
Matt's got 2 left feet. It is correct. It is correct. 384-1450. Again, we are going to speak with Scotty Davenport of Bellarmine Hoops here in just a moment. We'll be having him on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Stick with Bellarmine just for a moment here. They had a great past 2 seasons. Obviously,
yes.
2010 year, 2011, they won the national championship, the D2 national championship. Went back to the Final Four last year, lost to Montevallo in a close game, 79-72, I do believe.
They had some tight games during the season with them too, so
it was one of those type of rivalry games where you knew you were going to see him again.
Yeah, and then they had an injury. I forget exactly what the story was on the injury, but that really affected that game quite a bit. Yeah,
they lost. 79-72 is a good game, but back-to-back Final Fours after winning championship, and he's got another good team.
I think he'll do it a third time. I know that they thought that they had an inside track on Stephen Van Treese, and that would have been a nice little addition. But he's going to be a Louisville Cardinal and give Rick Pitino 5 fouls in the post for the.
Is he a Cardinal? Is he a Knight? What is he? Is he a transfer? What is Van Treese? He's a card.
He's a card.
He is not a L1C4 card though.
Oh yeah,
because he's an L1 get the hell out the door card.
No, he's a L1. I'm gonna graduate in 4 years card. That's what it is.
Stephen Van Treese is a good kid, not a good basketball player. But on Bellarmine, we're going to talk to him a little bit about the newest addition to his coaching staff, a guy everybody around the Card Nation knows, Reese Gaines. I'm sure that's an upgrade you can ask for.
Isn't it wild that when Reese Gaines and Dwayne Wade were in college that it was an actual argument that who's better?
Who's better? And what happened?
And so I want to know, I hope one day we can talk to Reese and ask him and say, hey, look, we know that, going out of college, it was like a discussion. Dwayne Wade or Reese Gaines, where did the development stop? Was it your coaching in the NBA? Was it maybe that your skills that had peaked in college? And maybe Dwayne
was he
Wade
a product of the system?
Right. Maybe he was a product of
the college game.
Of the college game.
There's a lot of great college players that never correlate to the NBA.
Absolutely.
Look at Adam Morrison.
And I think Reese actually finished 2nd or 3rd all time in scoring at Louisville. And we can go back and look that up. But I mean, he's top 5.
Let's get Reese on one day and talk to him about this.
Absolutely, John Hancock. And starting what we're going to try to do, John and I talked about this. We're going to get bowl reps starting next week.
Bowl reps.
We're gonna try.
I thought you meant like a Red Bull rep or something.
We're gonna target Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl folks. See what they're thinking in the selection process.
Thinking not the Cardinals because you all haven't played anybody. That's what you're thinking. That's not what you're thinking. But
if they win the Big East, I mean somebody's got to pick them up. So
that's a good idea. John Hancock, our man from KentuckySports.co and CardsandCats.com.
I like giving John jobs.
John, get on it. I like giving John jobs too. I like giving a lot of guys on our site jobs just to do it, like Brad. I love giving Brad jobs. He's our Northern Kentucky writer. The
NKU specialist.
NKU specialist. Brad Steen and Sioux St. Reds. He's good. Also, Scotty Davenport is having a show. We're going to talk about that. His coach's show starting up this week, here in a couple of days. So, matter of fact, I believe the man, the myth, the legend is on right now, right there at the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Scott Davenport, Bellarmine head coach. Scott, good morning.
Right here, live from the Yum Center.
That's what I was thinking. I saw the Facebook this morning. The practice going on right now, huh?
Yeah, we are. We started this morning at 8:45, and we're into a great practice, and we're so appreciative. I mean, Benny Tatum and Coach Patino allowing us this opportunity. Our exhibition season will start a week from Monday at Cincinnati, and on Wednesday we're playing here at Louisville. And on that Tuesday in between, I don't want to get away from our routine on campus of our preparation, our film work, et cetera, so we'd come down today to utilize our Saturday. And we may stay in here forever. I know they're going to scrimmage it, too. Maybe we'll get off before then.
Well, I know we were talking about, right before we got you on, the Bellarmine scene. Obviously, the Yum Center is a beautiful arena. It's a great place for a college game. But, Bellarmine, where you are a head coach, a great place to watch a game.
Oh, it's the best. It's not it's the absolute best. And we're just so appreciative. It's a very special night because our players kind of, it's like that night at our game against Louisville, they can like everybody. They're Louisville people, they can like Bellarmine. And I will always be a Louisville Cardinal. And the Bellarmine fans, they can like Louisville. So it's just a very, very special night of basketball. And while we're there, boy, you got to give kudos to Coach Strong and his staff and team. I mean, you talk about some guys when it's winning time that play. It was an amazing atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, a lot of winning going on around the city of Louisville, and not just the University of Louisville, yourself, Bellarmine. Of course, Scott Davenport, Bellarmine head coach, he is practicing right now at the Yum Center. Let us know a little bit about this team. Who I'm looking down the roster, not the most names you would be familiar with, like a Braden Hobbs type of guy. Let us know who's, for the fans this year, that need to be watching out. Scott, you there?
Illinois, and he's had a tremendous offseason. Chris Dow's a 4-year player, and is an All-American candidate without a doubt. I mean, a Player of the Year in our league, an All-American candidate, and he's come so far from Eastern High School, just as a person, as a player. You couldn't be more proud of a young man than I am him. And, of course, Keaton Jones is back from the injury that he suffered in the Elite Eight game last year, missing the Final Four game. So, you look with your veteran guys, but we have brought in new guys. We brought in a guard named Vance Hall, who's from Frankfort, Kentucky. He was a member of the Kentucky All-Stars. Started 18 games last year at Wright State, a Division I team, as a sophomore. And all the Bellarmine fans are going to be very, very impressed by Vance Hall, believe me. Ryan Burden's a kid from Bedford, Indiana, the home of Damon Bailey that made a big leap from his freshman to sophomore year. So we're not down at all, believe me.
Awesome. Coming off 2 Final Fours, obviously the D2 National Championship 2 seasons ago. You got to love that, being a Bellarmine fan. And you mentioned Vance Hall, Wright State. His teammate transferred to Kentucky, Julius Mays, so some local love there. I'm sure he's going to be a good talent. I wanted to ask you before we let you go, I know you are practicing, Reese Gaines. What kind of addition has he been to the staff? I mean, being a local legend.
He's been, words can't describe how much of an addition. I mean, he was the number 15 pick taken in the draft where LeBron was number 1. He's played 3 quality years in the NBA. He played, 11 total professional years. And he really understands and wants to be a coach. I mean, he's watched endless film. I'd say the greatest compliment we've had all year about Reese was his father-in-law was a very successful high school coach in San Antonio. And his father-in-law came up and watched a week of practice, and he said to me, he said, Coach, I've never seen Reese this excited since the night he was drafted. He said he watches film, he talks about the players, he does extra work with them, he puts in the time, and it's going to be a great coach. He will be a great coach, and I've always said he came from great parents. His parents are super people. He will be a great coach.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I'm a Kentucky fan myself. My co-host Mark Blankenbaker here, he's a Louisville fan. Reese Gaines, one of his favorite guys. I actually enjoyed watching Reese play throughout his whole college career, so I was excited to see that you brought him on the staff. Scott Davenport, I'm glad you took a few minutes out of your practice. You do have a coaching show starting this week, correct? You want to let the listeners know about this? Looks like we may have lost Scott. He is practicing. We will appreciate it. Thanks to Scott for coming on. He was in the Yum Center, probably had some service drops.
Yeah, the service inside the Yum Center sometimes can be a little shaky, let's just be honest.
Yeah, well, he might be calling back in now if he is. We'll ask him about his show real quick. But yeah, the service into the Yum Center, Mark, we do know.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting service issue inside the Yum Center since it was built, and they've done a lot of different things trying to.
Scott, you back?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we know all about the issues in the Young Center, but we were going to just ask you one more question. Obviously, you have the Scott Davenport show getting kicked off this week at BD's Mongolian Grill, correct?
Yes, we do. Tuesday night. So we'll tape every Tuesday, 7 p.m. You know, the service is impeccable. The menu's incredible. It's something for everybody. We encourage people to get there early, have a great dinner, drinks. It's a great location. And then it airs on WBKI here in Louisville at noon, and we'll do the next 20 weeks. Ken Taylor's back, who hosts the show, and it's been tremendous, to, not only in this community, but especially to Bellarmine, and we're excited about it. We'll preview obviously the exhibition games this week with Cincinnati and Louisville. We'll have Reese Gaines as a guest. And, you know, it'll be a full show because we're going to talk about the whole season.
Yeah, exactly. So it's right down the road from my house. I'm definitely going to come in and stop by and say, hey, Scott, I'll let you go. Get back to your practice. Like you said, November 5th, University of Cincinnati scrimmage in Cincinnati. And then the 7th, right here in Louisville, scrimmage on the number 2 Cardinals. So get ready, Bellarmine Knights fans. The season's here.
Right, and then our home opener will be the 15th of November. And that's a Thursday, and we roll right back on the 17th and play. And those games will both be in Knights Hall with the new lower chairback seating as well as the new floors.
That's awesome. Wayne State on the 15th and Grand Valley State on the 17th. Scott, get back to your practice. Get them going. We appreciate you taking a few minutes.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Great guy.
Yeah, and
Great coach.
I really loved hearing what he had to say about Reese, you know, because there's one thing about coaching and playing and just being involved in sports. Even if you want to write a blog or do a radio show, you cannot fake passion.
Yeah, he loves Bellarmine.
And if you have passion for what you do, then you will eventually find success. And I really honestly believe that. So, you know, to hear Reese just being like, oh, I just don't, you know, it sounds different than, oh, I need to stay in basketball because that's what I'm good at. It sounds like he legitimately loves.
He knows, you know, he knows these, you know, the city of Louisville loves Reese Gaines. If you're a blue or a red fan, obviously, if you're a Cardinal fan, he's one of your favorites. But he's just a good guy. I actually had the opportunity years when he was around the program to meet Reese. Just a quick little conversation, just saying, hey, you're a good player. Nicest guy I could have met around Louisville. So I'm glad he is part of Bellarmine. I'm going to have to get out there this year, Mark, and check me out a night game in Night Hall. New seat backs?
Dude, you got to try.
It's the reason I've been waiting.
There's really, I mean, he's not overselling the atmosphere at Knights Hall on a game day for Bellarmine basketball. I mean, it's absolutely electric in there, especially for a night game, like a weeknight game. Like the Saturday afternoon games can be a little low key, but you want to go night. Because that place is just
odd that
on fire.
Vance Hall is from Wright State, transferred, and so is Julius Mays.
It is pretty
both came over to the Bluegrass. Very interesting because you had Gilchrist and his Gordon from high school come to Kentucky. He went to Western, but obviously he transferred out after a year. Just weird the connection. You know, if you can get local guys, seems like a coach goes and sees one guy from a team, you see another guy from a team.
Right, and you know another fun part about Bellarmine basketball is that all the kids are local. I mean, not all of them, but you got a kid for Chris Dowell, like you said, is from Eastern, is All-American candidate. Corbin Maynard's from DeSales. You know, you got Corden Central, Covenant Catholic, Fern Creek, Clarksville, Ballard, PRP. You know what I mean? You know, it's just
local
loaded
team.
It's a local team. This is a basketball team just created by local kids. You can get behind.
You know, the recruiting outlets around, say, you know, Kentucky, the state doesn't have that much talent, you know, in basketball every year, but you really don't. We may not have the John Wall. We might not have the numbers guy, but we have the top to bottom a very talented state when it comes to basketball because there's plenty of guys like you just explained in D2. Junior college, which is very talented. Plenty of guys throughout the board that are winning and being very successful. So, Kentucky, as a state as a whole, especially the city of Louisville and Lexington, has had some great basketball players. And I was glad to be a part of it when I was, coming through.
Right, and it was interesting, just going back through the history. The 70s and 80s for Kentucky basketball is rich in high school athletics. And I wonder what happened in, like, the mid-90s where it kind of transitioned. Because there's a lot of really good football players in Kentucky now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the numbers, but there's about 20 legit football players coming out of the state of Kentucky.
Coming out of Trinity.
Well, no, not necessarily, but,
it just seems that way. It does just seem that way, but we are going to hop to our break here in a moment. I do want to say the birthdays, just a few birthdays around the sporting world today. Andrew Bynum, obviously, you know, the injury-prone Bynum out in the Lakers. Is he still a Laker or did he get traded?
Andrew Bynum,
did he
go to the Magic?
I think he's on the Magic now. That's right. He got traded for, you got Brady Quinn, bust,
somewhere else?
Notre Dame quarterback.
Terrible.
Of history.
Dick Trickle. It is Dick Trickle's birthday again.
Is he
Dick
Cole's
Trickle?
dad?
Huh?
Is he Cole Trickle's dad?
I don't know, but it's Dick Trickle's dad. Get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline and talk to my man, Handsome Jimmy. I see he's waiting. Just wait 1 minute, Handsome. We'll get into you. We'll be right back.
Can't get enough.
Boy, I think about it every night and day. I'm addicted, wanna jump inside your love.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. My name is Mark Lakenbaker. I'm joined with Tyler Bloyd. Give us a call at 384-1450. It's a beautiful day here in the city of Louisville.
I live and die by that program. I mean, I'm talking about, it's just, I'm a Louisville nut, as I've always been, but I'm worried about the kickoff team, man. We almost every drive starts at the 40, 45 yard. Mark, that's got to be a little concern to you, buddy, as a fan.
It is. The special teams have been a topic of conversation in everything that I do all year long. The special teams, the kickoff coverage especially that you mentioned, has been
terrible,
really bad. And they kicked it out of the end zone finally last night, and I just said, let's do that all the time. Let's just kick it through the end zone, start them on the 25. I don't know how we
sell the 45. It starts at 25. Mark, it's a good point. Yeah, it starts at 25 and sell the 45.
Right, and then you got several kick blocks this year, or block kicks. So you're allowing some kicks to get blocked. Your punt coverage is not as good as it is. I think last night they averaged 38 yards per punt. That's not good. You need to be at 41, 42 yards per punt to really get down there. And then your net punting average needs to be around 40, and that's at 33 right now. So the special teams to all the way around.
I have 3 years eligibility left, and I got a boot of 55 yards, guys.
Yeah,
I will shank everything. I will shank everything on purpose
with no pressure.
No,
but let's just get real though. Just like Hanson Jimmy said,
was that on the fly or did it roll a little bit?
But Hanson Jimmy's right. The special teams is Louisville's kryptonite right now. Their defense plays good enough to win, and they're getting these short fields because of special teams, and so teams are scoring. Okay.
And that's why I'm, Mark, being honest, I'm really not worried about the defense. I mean, everybody says, man, their defense ain't as strong. Well, I said, man, it ain't as strong when you start at the 40 or the 45. You're almost at midfield.
Right.
You just got a half a field or 40 yards to go for the field goal range. I said, the defense will be fine. I said, just get the kickoff team better. I mean, it gets you a little frustrated. It really does, because, and you see Coach Strong just losing his mind. I mean, what is going on? Because, they work on it and work on it and work on it. That's all the things that concern me and everything. But, I got to tell you, I'm 49 years old, and I heard Mark was talking, and to you, too, about the high school basketball. I got to tell you, I was fortunate. Growing up in the Louisville area, Daryl Griffith. My brother was telling me, I was like 11 years old, and my brother was said, "Come on, I got to take you somewhere." So I said, "Where are we going?" And he said, "We're going to Shawnee Park. We're going to this dirt bowl. You got to see this guy play." I get, and he said, I said, okay, so we go, and it's packed. I'm talking about wall. You can't get nobody in. It's like sardines up in trees. It's crazy.
Rucker Park.
Once I said, you already knew who it was. Who they come to see. And my God, I said, you got to be kidding me. I said, who is this? He says, Daryl Griffith. He says, like in the 9th grade. He says, he will be a Louisville Cardinal. And then just the way Bobby Turner and Rudy Michael and Bob Miller, guys that, it was heavily in the recruited with the Division I schools. He was unreal, the talent. And then when Daryl got close to coming to Louisville, he was the first high school player ever to get invited to the Olympic trials.
Yep.
That's just how good he was. And everybody said, man, he's got to be from New York, man. No, he's from Louisville. He's from New York. Because he had a New York game. And when he, then you hear he'd be going pro. He might come out of high school, straight out of high school and go pro because he had that chance. And it was just unreal how the basketball was. And, and Mark, I think you made a statement, about the Ballard team. About Bellarmine. I'm telling you, Coach Davenport, he went to Air Corps. He's a local guy. You know what I mean? Everybody, like you said, is local on that team. And I got to tell you something. There's no better environment, like you said, at a night game. Or a day game, too, but the night game is really special. Crowd is crazy. And Coach Davenport's got that program rolling, Mark. Don't you agree with that, buddy?
Absolutely. I think they're in line for a third Final Four, and once you get to a Final Four, it's all hands on deck. We'll see what happens, but local basketball, there's nothing better than getting behind guys who grew up in your hometown, and you can watch him and say, "Look, I watched that kid when he was in middle school. I knew he was going to be special."
Yeah.
Right. And I got to tell you, Mark. I'm privileged. Coach. Let me, he would go to the games, and I sit right behind the bench, and he knows I like, of course, Daryl was my idol, and he run this play he learned from Coach Crum, and I'm seriously saying, Jimmy, watch this. and he throw Gal the Chris alley-oop dunk. I mean, but it's so nice. I mean, you know what I mean? And I got to tell you, I mean, I've been, go in the locker room, and I'll tell you right now, he's a coachable boy. What's Coach P say? He's got a little Coach P in him too. I mean, by hollering and to get the folk, get your mind right, and if you don't want to play here, get dressed. And I mean, he'll tell you in a minute, and it's real, it's real special. But I'm like you. Third Final Four is not out of the question, is it, partner?
No, not at all.
Not absolutely not. This is the best time of the year. You got, it's late October, early November
for Kentucky, right?
You got football and basketball going on, and right now, if you're in the Louisville metro area, you have to be excited. I mean, I
got to tell you something, Mark. I got to tell you, the other day I did an interview with Rodney McCray, and my man right beside you, did it. And I got Lancaster Gordon coming up here probably this week. I'll be calling you about that too. But it's just, when he was pointing, he had a shirt. And I can't comment on that team up the road, kind of what they did last. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you do it?
And I was reading his compliments, Rodney's compliments, and he looked at me and said, that sounds like Anthony Davis. So, Rodney was an Olympic member. He was a freshman. He was All-American number 3 pick of the draft. And won a national championship as a freshman. And see, it's everything, no matter what you do, that school up the road tries to top, man. So, Mark, do you go through that stuff too, dog?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You have to go through that, but at the same time, you have to acknowledge, Anthony Davis probably did have the best 1 year of any college player in the history of the game. I mean, I just don't know if that's arguable.
Yeah, it's not all about the points. It's about the overall accomplishments, and he was and he's not just a great basketball, he's a great kid.
Right, and I got to know Anthony Davis a little bit last season, and great kid. Show me a better person. I mean, put him up there with Teddy Bridgewater.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Bridgewater and Peyton Siva. They're all that type of kids.
Yeah, I love those guys. I mean, they're great to talk to. Glad they're in a part of the state. I'm a Louisville guy, but you know what? It's hard to root against an Anthony Davis.
Handsome, I'm going to hop to the other phone. Go ahead.
You know something, Mark, and I see your point because I was a personal trainer for Derek Anderson for 4 years, and I've had Derek on the show, and I tell you, he was a Louisville guy. Believe me, he wanted to go to the University of Louisville. I mean, I know it for a fact. I mean, I was with this guy 24/7 for 4 years. I mean, and when he went to that school up the road, and he played well, it was hard not to root for him. You know what I mean? Because just the relationship.
Handsome's got a little bit of blue in him.
It's Derek Anderson.
There are human interest stories, Tyler.
Hey, even on the show now, when he's got this water out, and I told him, I said, "Do you got any? Red water?" He said, "Yeah, Jimmy for Ohio State." I said, "Oh, okay." He got me on that one. So I laughed a little bit, and when he's about ready to go off the air, he said this, and the school up the road and the Ohio State. I said, "Yeah, you might have played for that team up the road, but you're a Cardinal do it at heart."
There you go. Handsome.
And he laughed. Hey, Mark, real quick, what do you think about this team this year, man? I mean, can this be the year that we stay healthy and maybe get back to the Final Four and win the national championship? Could this be the year if everything falls into place, partner?
It could be, and the whole thing is going to be about shooting. Right now, you got to wonder who the shooter is. But I look at two upgraded positions, Chris Smith and Kyle Keurig. Concrete Kyle's what I call him. He didn't want to move out of his corner. Now you got Luke Hancock, who's an alpha male, and Wayne Blackshear, who's also alpha male. They're going to be moving around. They're going to be, active. Peyton Siva is going to have more moving targets to get the basketball to. That's going to make him more dynamic as a point guard. Gorgie Zhang has developed an offensive game. That's going to put this team in an upper echelon. And like I say, you're going to get to the Final Four. What you do from there, you got to roll the dice. But Hanson, Jim, we got some other callers on the line that we need to get
to. Mark, y'all got a great show, partner. Have a great day.
Thanks, Hanson. Hanson, Kentucky has Bob Wiggins, superfan. I swear to God, Louisville should have Handsome Jimmy, superfan.
He feels exactly the same way about Darrell Griffith as my dad does.
Your dad, him, and a lot of other Card fans. Oxmoor, Fort Lincoln Buzzline. Carolina Steve, what's up, man?
Nothing much. Last night I did not watch the football game because I am a high school fan, and I do not believe that colleges should play on Friday night. Friday night is high school football night. I don't care if it was U of L. I don't care if it was by East Carolina Pirates. I will not watch it because of the fact Friday night should belong to the high schools. And there were some good games over in Indiana right across the street from me. And I listened to y'all's band, the legendary Charlie Jenkins. Jeff and Evansville had a heck of a football game. There was like 35 points scored in the second quarter, and the Charlestown Pirates rolled. They had a 49-0 lead over Corydon at halftime, and I'm just a firm believer they shouldn't play on Friday night. If the Big East had any class, they would do like the ACC and the SEC and not schedule any games on Friday night. That is, they came out in writing on that. And I found out from a friend of mine, the ACC during basketball season does not schedule basketball games on Friday and very little on Tuesday because that's high school night in their area.
Right, well, you know, Carolina Steve, I'm really inclined to agree with you on that, and the reason is because, you know, it's really difficult to get a huge crowd out to your game, to get recruits to your game on a Friday night when everything's so segmented, and actually, the FIU game was actually played on a Saturday night on ESPN3. And the reason why that it was on ESPN3 was because Louisville actually declined to play Friday night in Miami because they wanted to go and see the kids at their high school so that they could recruit them, and then so that they could go to the game on Saturday night. It's impossible to recruit on a Friday night game because all those kids have games. You know, and one of the things is that the Big East signed that deal, and so they have an obligation to play a certain number of Friday and Thursday night games during the week, and unfortunately that's something that the University of Louisville is going to be held to as a part of a conference agreement. But I'm right there with you. I wish, you know, they would reserve you know, Friday night for high school. I wish the NFL did not play on Thursday night, so that could be a college night, and that's kind of segmenting that out now too. But you know, it's just the way it is. As long as television continues to run the college landscape, it's just going to continue to get worse.
Yeah, I agree with you. I remember when Conference USA started doing that Fridays. Well, they scheduled East Carolina for a Friday night ball game. The high school in North Carolina refused to let East Carolina come on and recruit because of that.
Huh, that's crazy. Carolina,
that is what I admire those. I was coaching at that. Well, I wasn't coaching at that time, but my dad was involved with athletics, and I guess I'm so enthralled with high school football and athletics because I coached it for 12 years, and my dad coached it for 33, so you might say I got a little high school in my blood. Y'all got a great show. It's good. We're going to be watching some football today, especially one I wish they had on. But I'll be listening to it on my iPhone. Is East Carolina and Navy, because if East Carolina wins today, we're all eligible.
That'd be great.
There you go.
And actually, East Carolina just hired Chuck Ninus to help them in their conference affiliation search, which I thought was really interesting because he was a former interim commissioner of the Big 12. So that's going to be interesting to sort of track to see what happens with East Carolina in the next coming months.
Well, that's going to be good. And let's watch some good football. Let's pull for them Hilltoppers. I'd like to see UK get a victory and everything. So let's all have a good one, and y'all have a nice day.
You too. Thanks, Carolina. You too. A great ending segment there at Handsome in Carolina. We'll be back 384-1450 Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. If anybody else wants to get in, this is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz, Hour 2. A great rejoin there. The songs have been on point today.
Has been, and you know what? I got
big high five to the interns, Adam, and Matt, the producer.
Adam's picking out all these songs.
He's killing it.
I got a message for the kids. Say no to drugs. Don't be like Tyler. Okay.
What?
He's thinking that tomorrow is going to be 85 degrees in Louisville.
Get your iPhone out and search it.
I don't care what the iPhone says. You can go outside, lick your finger, put your finger up in the air, and say,
today tomorrow?
It's not going to be 85.
Today tomorrow is another day.
No, you don't know. It's not going to be 85 tomorrow. You just know that.
Because I'm golfing in a scramble.
Yeah,
I know that.
You're hopeful.
I'm going to win this scramble.
You drive on down to Miami. You might get
on the golf talk. On the golf talk. Tiger Woods is playing great over in this tournament. I don't know exactly where or even know the name of the tournament right now. I just saw the stats. Anyways, that's the golf talk for today. Weekend golf guys are coming up at 12 o'clock, 12 to 2 today, as well as 12 to 2 on Sundays right after us. John Ashton and his gang, I love listening to that. They always have good tips for you, the weekend golfers. If you like to have a cold beverage on the course, these are your guys you want to listen to. It's not your, well, John, this is a putt for 8 feet. It's
for birdie and the
birdie. Oh, he misses.
Oh, and that's such a terrible development.
Yeah,
his son, who has
cerebral
palsy, is going to, really hate that. He's going to have to hear it from him.
It is. It's good golf talk. So those weekend golf guys, 12 to 2, and of course, 1450 to sportsbuzz.com. I just found out recently, within the last week, all of the shows are now available online for your viewing pleasure all day long, all night long. When you're up and you're having insomnia in the middle of the night and you're trying to, and you want to, what do I do? I'm tired of Repeat Sports Center. I'm going to get on to 1450 to Sports Buzz, and I'm going to go listen to Mark Blankberg, Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick on the Weekend Sports Buzz, or any of the other shows on the whole network.
Is there anything worse than Repeat Sports Center? Is there anything worse than ESPN right now? Either. I mean, like Stephen A. Smith.
I love ESPN right now.
No, ESPN. All right. So the other day, Stephen A. Smith dropped a racial slur on the air, and then 30 minutes later came on and said, "I did not say that word."
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Play the replay, ESPN.
4 million people, and so ESPN did. And you know what they did? They
called him out,
muted his saying of that, and then they allowed him to lie in his apology, which I'm like, I can see you lying. 4 million people are
the worldwide leader in sports, Mark.
They are lying to everybody.
Do you know what happened in 1961, Matt?
Something about your mom.
1961, what happened in the sporting world?
Nope.
I didn't think so. That's why I asked you. The ABL began. Big time.
Huge. Not even the ABA, the ABL.
ABL, huge.
The little known predecessor of the ABA. What in the world are we talking about right now?
I like throwing those stats out there because it made no sense at all.
Is that the league that Will Ferrell played in?
It is. Yes, exactly.
Semi-pro?
Yes, the league of extraordinary players.
He had a half-court shot for a check, and it was a fake check. Here, take this big check to the bank and cash it. They said that they don't take huge checks. Well, I don't know what's wrong. It's a huge check.
I just got a correction on my awesome reading for the show, the station here. E.J. Clark in the Kentucky's Winner's Circle is next, 11 to 1. Those weekend golf guys are just 1 to 2 today. They'll be, Saturdays are always different with scheduling, with all the games going on Saturdays. So E.J. Clark in Kentucky's Winner's Circle getting you prepped for some horse racing.
Did you get that on the Lotus Gunworks text line 414-1450?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I did.
Man, that thing works.
It works. It works just like that. People listening.
I get a lot of hate mail on that
And, of course, call us, 384-1450. Let's talk about it now, Mark. Let's talk about it a few minutes before we get into Dave Spelker Vibe. Kentucky is going to Missouri today. 12:21 kickoff. ESPN. You or the two. I can't remember which one. One of the two.
Check your local listings.
Check your local listings. I expect Kentucky to put up a very good game against them. Missouri is not Missouri from last year or the year before. They're your every 4-year Missouri team that's not good. They have some injuries just like Kentucky does. I know it's at Missouri. That's the reason why I don't know if they can win this. But if they could come and play like they did against Georgia last week, yeah, I do expect Kentucky to have a chance.
Absolutely. You know, the Missouri Tigers have had a really rude introduction to SEC football so
Welcome
far.
to real football, guys.
And you know, the league office actually tried to help them out. They tried to give them all their good get teams at home against Missouri early in the season, and then late they have to go on the road. So this is a game that Missouri has to have. It's homecoming for them. Like you said, James, Franklin is unlikely to play, so they're going to use their backup quarterback. Kentucky played really well last week, I thought, against Georgia. I did not expect them to do that, and they really shut it down, but they limited the Georgia run game quite a bit.
Yeah.
And did well. I know Patrick Tolles practiced this week. You know, it's going to be like a 1-2 punch. Jalen Whitlow, Patrick Tolles, I think. I don't think we'll see Morgan Newton at all.
You know,
so I'm pumped.
I am pumped. 12-21. Gary Pinkel, he's been around for 12 years. He's long. That's a long time in these days. I bet he's on a hot seat soon. Yeah. Welcome to real football. Welcome to real football, Texas A&M. Welcome West Virginia to the Big 12.
You don't think that his alumni is going to give him an adjustment period?
I'm not going to say it's going to be this year, but
because let's face it, Gary Pinkel came from the Big 12 North. He did a lot of stuff in the Big 12 North as a passing team. The SEC is not a passing league. Let's be honest. I mean, what great quarterbacks are in the SEC if you think about it?
Andy Murray.
I mean, I know that, but like, is he in the national
Patrick Tolles is pretty good.
Yeah, but
I mean, Max Smith.
Balls.
Max Smith, I meant to say, sorry.
You know what I'm saying? What we're talking about is like, where are we talking about on the national picture? Almost all the great quarterbacks.
West Coast.
Big 12.
Big 12. Midwest. Yeah, you're right.
Okay?
You're right.
So that's kind of like where they are as a rule. So you're going into a totally different style of football. It's not a surprise that Texas A&M's doing well because of the style of football that they play. Okay, but Missouri is totally in a different world. It's like going from Earth to Mars, and it's different. They don't have talent, number one, to compete in the SEC East right off the bat. Gary Pinkel's good for
look at Gene Chizik though.
8 wins. Gene Chizik
is done.
He's done. Bobby Petrino's
won
going to
the
be that
championship 2 years ago.
Bobby Petrino's going to be down at Auburn.
I hope not.
I'm telling you, December, mid-December.
No.
We're going 45 days. Bobby Petrino.
45 days, 45 men.
Well, I don't know what that
is Big Brothers Big Sisters. If you hear the ad, they always come out to their tailgates now. You wouldn't know, you're never there. It's fun.
I'm on the road.
We appreciate Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Real work. But yeah, Big Brothers Big Sisters.
45 men, 45 days. Something that Jeff Mason really loves. Big Brothers Big Sisters. But yeah, in Kentucky, they love. Kentucky, Missouri. I'm looking at the stats. This is one of the only teams on the stats on the schedule that the stats are as ugly as you would expect.
Yes.
And they're pretty even across the board with
they're
UK.
The worst third down team in the nation.
That's not good because Kentucky is usually the worst third down team in the nation.
Well, Kentucky's actually one of the worst at giving up third downs. So that's kind of what I was going to look at as my key to the game. Missouri's the worst third down converting team in the country. Kentucky's in the lower 10 of giving up third downs. I think they're 15th or something.
Something I wanted to bring up when you were talking to, I believe it was Handsome, about the special teams for Louisville.
Yeah.
Well, for Kentucky, they actually have the total opposite. They have I believe he's averaging the most returns in the nation, the most return yards in the nation. Like he's had.
Who are we talking about?
Dawkins, not Dawkins. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, Dyshawn Mobley is Dyshawn Mobley the returning guy? I'm pretty sure. I've lost my train of thought with Kentucky football. I'm not going to lie to you. I've lost all the names in between all the injuries and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like a MASH unit, so you don't know who's even back there.
They're so young.
Number 8 is going to return this. Don't even look at the roster.
Regardless.
It's going to be somebody different next time.
He's had like 10 over 40-yard returns. That means Kentucky's been scoring a lot to return a lot. But Kentucky does have a good special teams game. But one thing I've noticed for both Kentucky and Louisville, not one single kick or punt return for a touchdown. For either, and Louisville is 8-0.
I know.
Surprising.
I know. One thing Louisville hasn't done is given up a long return for a touchdown. They've given up long returns. And
that could be a way you lose a game.
It could absolutely be a way.
You got to think if Louisville will score one this season, and you got to think they'll give up one. And there's only 4 games to go in your season.
Well, the Abernathy kid's one of the best at returning kicks and in college football. So he didn't return one for a touchdown last night. You kind of hemmed him in. You know, you're only going to contain a guy like that, like a Hester. If you kick to him, you're going to get what you get. Randall Cobb. You're going to get what you get. Derek Abney. Okay, you're going to get what you get.
You could try to contain Derek Abney.
You're going to get what you get if you kick to him. So, Louisville needs to start kicking the ball out of the end zone. Back to Kentucky. They need to move the ball.
They need to move the ball. I know Jalen Whitlow, I mean, he got thrown into the mix of Florida.
Right.
First SEC game. That's hard to do. He looked good last week. I'm not saying he was great, but he definitely could show that he has improved from 4 weeks ago.
I think the Kentucky offensive line can assert their will against the Missouri defensive line today. I am not impressed by Missouri's defense, especially against the run. I think that this is a game where, UK can actually win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football today, and that's going to be the difference in the game. And when is DeMarco Robinson going to break out?
When
are we going to get something out of him?
Sophomore, junior, or
sophomore wide receiver.
Sophomore, you got to think he doesn't have a really true quarterback that's a passer throwing to him, Mark.
You don't have to be a true quarterback, throw a screen pass.
I know, but especially in Kentucky, that's every other play. But
right.
If you look at going back to Max Smith, I'm going to compare it with Rod King. Rod King had like 23 receptions in 3 games. Since then, he's had like 14, 15.
Oh, man.
If you keep Max Smith in the mold, I expect not only will Rod to keep this up, you may have beat Georgia, but I would have highly expected DeMarco Robinson to have a lot more looks because, it's just it's the injuries that hurting. It doesn't help when you have the number 2 schedule in the nation. It doesn't help when you're playing 18 freshmen now. It doesn't help when half your it's just a hard season. I really do feel bad for Joker because he's a good guy. He has talented kids. Injuries it's like the ultimate storm to get him fired.
It is, and you gotta, like you say, the injuries. You know that probably Florida's a loss, okay? And that's okay. It's not a bad deal to get beat by Florida. But when you look at going into that game, you feel like you have a chance. And then Max Smith can't play at all. You know what I mean? And then you go against South Carolina, and he plays a play. And he's done. And then you go into a game that's very winnable, Mississippi State, and you get
beat up. They're good though. Mississippi State's good.
Mississippi State's gonna come down to earth.
This is their. Are they?
They're playing Alabama, and they're 27.
That doesn't count.
Hey, 27-point underdogs. You're undefeated.
Bama could possibly beat. Give me the worst NFL team. God.
With Max Smith at quarterback, Kentucky has a chance to beat Mississippi State.
And they have a chance to beat Georgia. They beat Missouri.
And they had a chance to beat Georgia, Arkansas.
Compete.
I think Arkansas was a product of frustration, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The rain, they're looking at rain, and they're looking at...
Arkansas is a top 10 preseason team.
They had talent, and it's just like...
Your coach got caught having affairs with a very attractive younger lady. I'm not harping on you, Bobby. Bobby's in the studio. I'm not harping on you, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby's a good dude.
He's a good dude. Come on, Kentucky Bobs.
If you're 50 years old
and you're banging hot chicks on the reg,
are you gonna hate on that?
I'm not hating on him.
If you're
sorry
his
for
wife,
partying, Bob.
Are you gonna be like, what?
384-1450. The
pat him on his
Oxmoor.
Back.
Get off the man's back, just like get off Pac-Man Jones's back. I don't know if you heard this over the week, Mark, but we had Adam Pac-Man Jones on the Montreal Jones Power Hour, and we asked him about the $76,000 that all the big networks strike to make fun of him for using it to strip club. Well, but you didn't know, and they didn't know. He won $1 million before that on the same night.
You know what?
Let the man party.
If I won $1 million, I might lose my mind and blow $75,000 on something.
Single man? Why not?
It might be a strip club. I don't think so, but it could be.
If you were single, it might be a strip club.
Now, I might have gone to a candy shop.
You might have went to a candy shop.
Might have gone to Costco and got pretzels for a year.
You might have went to McDonald's and tried to win the $1 million by just buying unlimited Big Macs. I don't know.
Give me the left side of the menu. Let me see what's up.
Give him the left side of the menu.
Exactly.
Wow. 384-1450. Mark's getting smart on me in here. I got to get to a break because I got Dave Spelker coming on. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We will be right back.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Broken hearts, I broke it all. And if you put me on, baby, I'll break you off. Mr. Thor el Mundo, take it off. You know the game plan. I'm a quarterback with options. I want to go deep, Hail Mary, amen. But tell your friend don't block us. I promise you can watch us. You know what time it is.
We're back here at the Weekends Buzz. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker, every Saturday, 9 to 11, right here on 1450, the Sports Buzz. We are going to go straight to the Buzz Line right now. We got a caller, the Professor. What's going on, man?
Nothing, chilling, man. Hey, I gotta tell you something, man. When's the last time y'all seen let's just say Iowa State versus Wake Forest in college football?
Iowa State being
Clemson. Yeah, or Clemson.
I saw Clemson, Wake Forest on Thursday night, and Iowa State.
Or Mississippi State. How about that?
They're having Dan Mullen's having a good squad with
They're playing Alabama today.
Yeah, Mark, come on, it's Alabama. They don't count. Other than Mississippi State's having a good season. Professor, who's your squad?
Man, you should know UK.
That's
but what's that one guy's? Hey, what's that one guy's name? Handsome Jimmy.
Yeah.
Is he still on there?
No, he is not. He called in.
Oh man, hey, I know he's listening. He's got to be listening, right?
I'm sure he's listening.
Hey, Handsome. Hey, you listening to me, man? Hey, nobody really gives a squat about U of L football, man. I just want to sit there and tell you that. Nobody gives a squat of it, especially coming from the Big East. And in the Final Four, we're going to get you too, Handsome Jimmy.
Yep.
Go back to basketball, baby. Just
shut up, Mark.
Going back to that basketball.
Shut up, Mark.
Get on that basketball. Bring up that basketball right here in October. In October, let's get.
Go ahead, Professor.
Hey, y'all got something to ask me about UK basketball?
Yes, what are you thinking about UK
tell
basketball?
Tell me what's going to happen in basketball this year.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
First of all, we're going to lose at U of L. I'm going to be the first one to say it. We're going to lose. But we'll get you back in the Final Four just like we did Indiana. I'll hang on.
I like that call, Professor. Thanks, my man. I like that. Calling out my man Handsome, your man Handsome. Look at the rivalry. The fan base is getting heated.
Can't wait for
Mark, shut up.
October.
2 years ago, you had Steve Cragthorpe running the helm, and you couldn't wait for basketball to start before your season started, okay?
I couldn't wait for every single football game so I could sit up there and
I love Cragthorpe. He is such a good coach.
Nobody ever said that. I said I wanted to rip him every single week. I looked forward to running circles around him mentally after every single game.
He's my favorite player ever.
I would let him coach I'm
going back to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line to break up your antics, because I got one of my favorite guests online. He is from Vipe Magazine, Vipe Louisville, Vipe National. Dave Spelker. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Doing great.
A little heated right now. Sorry about the craziness.
And a lot of that going around, let me tell you, on the college level and on the high school level for sure.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, like I was saying, we have Dave Spelker. He is with Vipe Magazine. If you don't know what Vipe Magazine is, then you're not in the sports realm. It is your local and national high school sports coverage on paper. You got not just your local breakdown of scores. You got your stories, your Indiana high school Griffin Old type of story,
Henryville, Indiana.
Indiana story.
Didn't even play high school football, and now he's playing on the University.
It's all about the good stories, and I like reading Vipe. Dave, the new issue is basketball, correct? Preview?
Actually, the one getting ready to hit the stands is going to focus on the soccer seniors.
Okay.
We wanted to give them a tribute, and of course they're in the midst of their playoffs right now. They've got quarterfinals today, and then they'll finish that up next week, boys and girls in Lexington. We've got locally Assumption still in the mix for the ladies, and St. X for the boys, and actually they may be the favorites there. So they'll finish that up, and yes, the next issue, it would be a lot more than soccer, but that's our cover story. Basketball then will be December.
Okay, December.
Actually, the action will probably have been started, but we'll have kind of a season preview in December on basketball. It's just it never stops. It's coming and coming.
Hey, so Dave, how about the Sacred Heart Valkyries winning another state title in field hockey?
That was very exciting. They won this past Wednesday night up at Bellarmine in sudden victory, they call it now.
Whoa.
1-0 over their old buddies Assumption, and we just had an article this month in Vipe about defense in field hockey, and man, Sacred Heart really turned it on in the tournament. There was not a goal scored on them in the state tournament, so
wow.
That's outstanding play. And if you can do that, you deserve to win. That's for sure.
I know I've actually attended. I obviously never played field hockey, but I had a cousin. She went to attended Mail a few years back, and I saw some of her field hockey games. I will say those girls are mean.
You know what? Yes, at times they can be very determined about what they want to do and how they want to do it. And it's exciting today. There's actually a couple All-Star games down at U of L's field.
Yeah, we actually
juniors and then the senior girls. Kind of one last hurrah for the senior players. And for a lot of them, it may be the last time they play a field hockey game. But then a lot of them do go on to college, and exciting times. So. I wish it'd be a little warmer down there today, but it's going to be fun.
It's going to be 86 tomorrow, Dave. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, apparently that's what I hear going around. This perfect storm or something's going to bring a heat wave into the Louisville area.
That's not going to happen, Dave. Tyler's just having wishful thinking, but at least it won't rain on the girls today.
Yeah,
or at least it
that's
shouldn't.
True.
It's nothing worse than playing in cold, windy, and rain.
Oh my gosh! Ask the Central Yellow Jackets that. They had 10 fumbles last night.
Are you kidding me?
10 fumbles. Now, I don't think they lost all 10, but still, that certainly disrupts your offense.
Didn't they win?
That was.
Did they win?
I'm sorry?
Did they win that game?
No, 15-14. PRP beat Central. Great game. PRP finishes undefeated regular season for the first time in many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
But just two good local teams going at it, and it lived up to its billing, that's for sure.
I know you also mentioned that the St. X and Cincinnati St. X rivalry was played, if I'm correct.
The Louisville St. X traveled to Cincinnati last night and actually kind of got a trip to the woodshed. They lost 23-9, and I think 6 of those points were just a touchdown right at the end for the Tigers. So that's not the showing they wanted to have right before playoffs, but
Glazer's looking at.
In the scheme of things, it really didn't matter to Louisville St. X the way it meant to Cincinnati St. X. They had to have that game, and the Bombers did to make their Ohio playoffs. So.
Oh, really? So it was a very, very crucial game. It's crazy that they play a team from another state to be on the key of the line to make the playoffs for another state. That's odd.
Yeah, it is. It's very odd how that differs from here in Kentucky. So. Next week, we start with our playoffs. I know Indiana's a couple weeks ahead of us, and I heard Carolina earlier talking about Jeffersonville and Charlestown. Yeah, they're rolling. They're doing well. But our guys start this week, and, to be blunt, there's going to be some massacres in this first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, there always are.
You just hope and pray that none of the kids get hurt. That's the best thing that can happen in some of these games.
A lot of the kids, they know that they're playing who they're going to have to play in that first round before they even have weeks in advance, and it's more of the line of let's just get there, and then what's David versus Goliath? If we knock them off, then oh my God.
Yeah, maybe they can get a lead in the first quarter somehow. Something weird happens, and maybe play a tight ball game. But for the most part, I mean, when you're and the high school discrepancy can be very big in terms of talent and skill, and then that's because it's going to be on full display in the first round of the playoffs here in the state of Kentucky.
So true. So true.
Now, let me ask you, you said the soccer state is going on. We actually, Thursday, with Matt Dennison on the High School Sports Report over in Indiana, we had the Providence girls. They were playing for the state championship, if I'm correct. They're back-to-back years in a row. We had them on. They were all excited, and it was like you said, a lot of those girls, this is their last game. It's a competitive sport, so they were all excited about that, but I'm pretty sure it's getting kicked off here as well.
Yes, again, Indiana a little bit ahead of us in their schedules. Our girls, semi-state today, and that's in Lexington. And then next Saturday, the championship here in Kentucky be played. But Providence, my gosh, yeah, they've got it going with their soccer program. That's outstanding work over there by Pioneers.
Yeah, of course, Dave.
We've got volleyball happening actually right now. Assumption's playing out at Valley High School. Their match may be close to being over just because they're so good, and they're still in the thick of things. And Mercy is in there, and as is North Oldham. So tonight we'll have a state champion, 8 o'clock out at that new Valley complex.
Will Vite be out there?
Yes. Matter of fact, I'm not there now, but we have others. We have photographers out there right now, and I'm sure catching some of the action that I don't know if those pictures will make this issue. They might. So we may have some state championship photos from volleyball in this next issue. So.
That's awesome. Again, it's Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine. You can pick up your issue if you have a student in a middle school, high school, have them bring home one and check it out. If not, go up to Dick's Sporting Goods, Kroger, multiple moms and pop shops around the Louisville and Southern Indiana area to pick up a Vite magazine, because I promise you will enjoy it. The demographic is it's not the younger crowd, a little bit more of the parents' lives, because they like to read the good stories as we do. I know I like to read a good sporting story from from around the whole state, not just here in Louisville. So Dave, I know you're on the Mason and Myers every Tuesday, Wednesday. Which one is it?
Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning.
Yep. Talk to those guys. You all seem to get along a lot better than they do.
We do. We do. We're friendly here. I don't like Louisville. Mark doesn't like Kentucky, but we're friends.
We're friends, and I actually do like Kentucky. That's the thing that people don't get.
Oh.
It's just that I just like Louisville.
Hey,
better.
Hank.
There you go.
What's going on, Hank? Anyways, Dave, again, I appreciate you. We will be out with Dave here in a few weekends. November 14th, Dave, right? Dixie Bowl?
November 10th.
November 10th. Okay.
Like 2 weeks from today? Is
yes.
that right?
Yeah.
I think so. That's going to be a blast. Dixie Bowl, Dixie Highway. We're having a Vite preseason kickoff bowling tournament, and I think it's full. I think we've got 36 teams ready to go at it.
Wow.
18 boys and 18 girls teams, and we're going to see some of the best bowlers in the state have a good tournament to get things kicked off for this season.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be awesome if you guys can join us there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to come out there.
I want to.
We'll bring the little 1450 short bus. I'll bring my boxing ball, glove, bowling ball, and I'll show those little kids how the real bowlers do
I'll
it.
embarrass myself on the lane.
Dave,
we'll get the bumpers down and
perfect.
See if we can't show them a thing or two, right?
Exactly. Dave, go enjoy yourself Saturday, and then, of course, go Cats.
Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Dave definitely avoided the go Cats there. He was like, oh. Well, no,
not really.
No.
Well, after last night's game, Devontae Parker leads the nation in yards per catch with 22.85.
I mean, when he only catches 3 a game for a giant proportion. I mean, he had 119 yards last night, another 120.
Last night he had 120 yards, 2 touchdowns on 4 catches.
He's becoming the big guy playmaker for your Cards. Which,
him and Damian
Copeland. 6'3", 6'4", why not?
Why not? And Damian Copeland, don't forget the honey mustard. He was extra spicy last night. Caught a really beautiful 51-yard ball on the money from Teddy Bridgewater.
Jeremy Wright
last night.
Performed well.
Jeremy Wright, the running game hasn't been great the last 2 games, but you know what? If they're going to shut down the
2
run,
running touchdowns.
There's going to be Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had 1 touchdown.
I hate to say this Louisville team is a fine-tuned machine for the dump of a schedule they play.
And they're only going to lose 8 of these players, buddy.
And that's another good thing. Maybe 9 if you include your coach.
Why would he leave, though? But,
let me ask you. Like, will Arkansas try to get him to come down there?
Well, from what I understand, and I talked to several different people in all the press boxes that I've been
Sources?
to. Sources.
Oh.
Sources. Brett
The
McMurphy,
infamous source.
Basically that, right now, Charlie Strong is like 3rd on their list.
Third. Not even in the pecking order.
And then Tom George told Greg Doyle last night that at the Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, he told him that I'll make him the highest paid coach in the country.
So he's off. He's willing to throw the bank at him, which
he's ready
you
to
need
throw
to.
Mac Brown, Nick Saban type
John
money,
Calipari.
which is a little crazy. I mean, John Calipari doesn't
Is
even
it?
make that $6-7 million a year.
Well,
I mean
Cal's at
football,
like what, 5.5 plus endorsements.
Well, that's really high for a Louisville football coach. I mean, the highest we've ever paid a coach is $2.5 million.
Now, is that high though, Mark? Shouldn't it's a new era? You've got the money to do so. You want to keep your train, as you all call it, rolling. Why not dish it out?
Yeah, and exactly. He deserves to be paid. I mean, he took over a team went 4-8. Now they're 8-0 3 years later. I mean, you know, he won 7 games the previous 2 years. He's been given a lot of latitude within the fan base, and I think what Tom Church is really going to do, to be honest with you, is I think he's going to open up the assistant coaches pool quite a bit to try to keep this staff intact, keep Vance Bedford, keep Sean Watson, keep Brian Jean-Marie and all those guys, Clint Hurt on staff, Dave Borbley, you know, those guys intact there. Kenny Carter's running back coach, but
Clint No Neck Hurt. Gotta keep the no neck.
You know, I'm a big fan of Kenny Carter as a running backs coach. I'm not a big fan of him as a special teams coach at this point. I don't understand what's going on, but I don't know, man. I'm just pumped.
I know you're pumped. You're 8-0.
8-0,
Who do you play next week?
Play Temple.
Temple, another garbage Big East team. Are they Big East yet? They are Big East. I didn't know if they were in yet or not.
They're an emergency addition.
Emergency addition to the
West
conference.
Virginia exited.
What a great emergency addition. You know, Temple House.
And the thing, you know what the thing is that they're actually pretty good.
384-1450. The Temple Owls are not good. Give us a call.
384-1450. They beat Kentucky.
We'll be right back. For Mark Blankbaker, I'm Tyler Boyd. We got another segment. Call us, the Weekend Sports Buzz.
But you can be my missus tonight. I know you're looking for a good guy, but I can guarantee a good time. Hello, my name is not Mr. Right, but you can be my missus tonight. I know we're only fooling around.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call, Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline at 384-1450.
Final segment of the Weekend Sports Buzz is up and running here. Mark's getting phone calls. He's on the air. Come on, people.
I know, it's my sister. You would think I could get my sister to listen to the radio show.
Yeah, no doubt. Come on, family. Listen to Mark talk.
Yeah, as she calls me about, probably her puppy. She's got
UK.
I got a dog. She got her brother. It's amazing.
Family ties. 384-1450. If you have family ties to us, call us 384-1450. The Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Shoot Matt, Douglas, Adam a text. Lotus Gunworks text line 414-1450. Dave. We had Dave Spelker on Invite Magazine. He texted me after we let him go. He forgot to mention. Today, Mark, if James Quick from Trinity can catch 2 passes against Moeller, he'll become the all-time leading receiver in Kentucky football history, surpassing 1450's own Montrell. I am super cocky Jones. I cannot wait till Monday comes around to tell Montrell he is no longer number 1.
I will tell you this. I went to high school with Montrell. I was a year older than him. And watching him play high school football was absolutely incredible.
He was a monster.
I saw him put out at least 3 or 4 dudes on stretchers.
Don't blow his head up anymore.
On punt return. Okay? It was ridiculous. I got to give a guy props. He's dominant at the high school level. Okay? And Michael Bush was too. And watching both those guys together on the same team was absolutely incredible.
I believe I was around a freshman that year. Oldham County actually played male. We had Dante Smith and some guys. Montreal's calling me right now. How about that? Hey, Montreal, you're listening to me on the radio, and now you're calling me.
Yeah.
Let me answer that phone call, Montreal. Come on. But, yeah, that's not here. I want to talk about, in the last segment, some local, not local, the college football slate for today. We always like
What about Ryan Lochte picking Auburn again, the LSU A&M game the other day?
Wait, what?
Ryan Lochte, they said he was like their guest picker the other day.
Oh, on ESPN? Mm-hmm.
And it was LSU A&M.
And he picked the winner?
He picked Auburn.
Oh, he picked... Oh, I get it now. He's an idiot.
He's the biggest
idiot. He picked Auburn for a game and wasn't even playing.
And wasn't even playing.
No wonder people say he's not a good...
He's a stoner.
Yeah, he is a stoner.
Put down the weed. Maybe you won't
Don't you say that to Michael Phelps, though. Michael Phelps is fine.
Needs the weed, apparently.
Exactly. He needs it. Tennessee, South Carolina at noon. That's a good little game. Obviously South Carolina is going to walk out the door with that one, no doubt. Texas is playing Kansas. Nothing special there. I'm trying to find some good games. Oregon, blast on Colorado tonight. Here we go. Florida going to take on Georgia. It's home for Florida. This is the biggest game of the season for Florida to date.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Obviously, every game from here on counts. Every game counts in college football, but when you're undefeated number 2 in the nation, you got to win this game to get to that SEC championship to play Alabama to maybe set up a rematch just like last year, LSU-Alabama.
Right, and if you're Georgia, this is how you get back into the Eastern Division race.
It's crazy. One loss is you're fine.
You're fine with.
Does that make you mad being Louisville? I mean, if Louisville is 1, you're not even top 20. Are you ranked?
No, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, you're still in the conference championship race with a loss because you can go around and beat the next team. But
it'll be a very good game.
I'm very interested in that game, and then the other game is in the SEC's Alabama Mississippi State. I think Alabama's going to roll.
We both know who's going to roll.
And then Texas Tech, Kansas State.
That should be an interesting.
Kansas State's for
Kansas
real.
State has. It's hard to jump on are they for real train, but I guess they are for real.
Legitimate.
Heisman candidate
Colin
Klein, quarterback. Him and Geno Smith are up there. They'll be taking on Texas Tech and Tommy Tuberville, who's having a great season.
They're having a great season. And I remember Tommy Tuberville was in the conversation when Charlie Strong was hired here at Louisville. I mean, I think he was like the third choice.
The professor brought up Clemson, former Tommy Tuberville stomping grounds. Did good work there.
He was at Auburn.
Oh, excuse me. That's right. I always get Auburn and Clemson confused.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why.
It's because of the orange.
I guess so.
I don't know why. But
I
they're
always
very
have done
similar
that.
type schools. But Tommy Tuberville got fired for no reason.
No reason.
Really, at Auburn.
Just like Gene Chizik's about to.
They brought in Gene Chizik. He got Cam Newton, won a national title. Now they're about to fire him, hire Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which they almost did for Tommy Tuberville in the beginning. So it's kind of a big circle.
Auburn, you silly people. Texas Tech, Kansas. Who you got the Florida-Georgia game? I'm going to say Florida.
I'm going to say Florida.
It's a home.
I'm
going to
root for Georgia.
I'm going with Florida.
Say that Florida's going to win, but
I'm going to say Texas Tech takes down Kansas State.
You're going to be wrong. That's going
to be with that's my upset special.
That's double digit.
My game word special,
bro.
Well, we'll find out. USC is taking on Arizona. I've got Arizona, USC.
I'm gonna pick a weird one.
What?
Washington's gonna beat Oregon State today.
Washington in the fight and Mike Leach? Oh, he's Washington State. Excuse me.
Washington Huskies are going to beat Mike Riley and the Oregon State Beavers.
I don't think
in
so.
Seattle.
I think
tonight.
Oregon State are for real. I think Oregon State's for real.
Oh, Oregon State's very good, but Washington at home is really difficult to beat.
That's interesting.
I like
that. I'm assuming a 10 and 15 kickoff.
10, yeah. We're
I don't
gonna
know.
have to wait all day to get to that one. And then you got Notre Dame, Oklahoma.
There's the game of the day. There it is. A lot of talk all week about this game. It can, first matchup in Oklahoma and since like '66 between these two. It's been a while. Notre Dame undefeated, very good team.
Oklahoma went down,
but
Kansas State.
To Kansas State, very good team. Who do you have in that game? I'm going with Notre Dame.
I'm going Oklahoma.
I hate Notre Dame, by the way. I'm putting everyone. I hate Notre Dame.
I hate them too.
I'm going with Notre Dame.
But Oklahoma wins this game, and I think it's not even close.
I hope you're right.
I think it's.
I hope you're right. I'm going to say Notre Dame wins, but I hope you're right. Another game I wanted to mention: Duke and Florida State. Duke is. I mean, if they win, they're bowling.
I'm rooting for the Blue Devils.
Are you?
But they're not going to do it.
No, Florida State, go Noles. You chop Duke's head off. I don't want them to win another game all season. I just hate you. Can't wait to beat you all on November 11th, November 14th. One of the two. We're going to beat you all after we beat Michigan.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, 8 o'clock.
Nobody cares about the Big Ten because it's just, why would you watch Big Ten football? I can go to Home Depot, buy some white paint, throw it up on the wall, and watch that instead.
That's true. It was very true. I was actually sitting there watching the Louisville game last night, and that came to my mind. Not paint drying, but the Big East this year. There has been some entertaining games. I'm not going to lie. I've been impressed by the Big East and keeping me not falling asleep on my couch.
Well, in my preview that I did for the Keg of Nails game last night.
The Keg of Beers? That's how I prefer.
I talked about the difference between South Florida, Louisville, Rutgers, and Cincinnati, and I said, there's really not that big of a difference between a 2-5 USF team and an undefeated Rutgers and Louisville team, and the only
difference... It's very comparable, yeah.
The only difference is execution. You got quarterback who's executing plays on both teams for, Gary Nova for Rutgers and Teddy Bridgewater for Louisville. Rutgers' defense is unbelievable. Kasheem Green he could start. He would be all SEC, okay? And I just, the Big East is a very entertaining football conference, and, I know people undervalue it, but I like the Pac-12 too. I think that's so entertaining.
I can't watch Pac-12 games just because they kick off at 11 o'clock, and I just,
see, that's perfect for me because that's when I normally get to watch.
And that's when you're sitting at home alone on the couch.
It's when I get the TV.
That's when you get
the TV over,
Once
Grey's Anatomy, private practice, and all that stuff goes off.
Once the ladies asleep.
Pac. Oh, wow.
Pac-12, this is exactly what I stayed up for.
What I stayed up for.
Pac-12, oh my goodness. I can't wait to watch Washington State tonight, taking on Arizona, and it's such a ball game. We've got a few minutes left in the show. We got that out there. I wanted to end it with some basketball. Obviously, the AP poll came out yesterday. IU, U of L, Kentucky. 1 through 3, first time in history they've been preseason top 5 in the AP poll.
I made jokes and said, hey, it's October. Why are we talking about basketball? Well,
you love it.
It's because everybody in this area is in the top 5.
This is basketball.
Like, come on. And this is a basketball thing. And, we're going to have a great time with football this year. We're going to close out the season strong. But there is some really great basketball.
Does your number 1 preseason or number 2 preseason take away from a little bit from this 8-0? There's a lot of Louisville basketball fans only. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm not coming from the Mark Blankenbaker standpoint. I'm coming from the
53,271 people sat in the cold winter rain last night.
There's your answer.
And they are not ready to give up on a 8-0 football season.
There it is. Good. And I would hope not, because if I'm remembering back correctly, when Kentucky was number 7 in 2008 or so, moving to a potential Big SEC East championship, basketball season hadn't started yet.
It
was unbelievable.
People are pumped about it, and they should be. They went to a Final Four last year. The whole team's back. Like I said, you upgraded from Concrete Kyle and Stoner Chris Smith, and now you got two guys
yesterday.
who can actually use their legs and move around the court and say, "Oh, look, I can actually."
Where's the offense come from? Where's the offense come from?
Peyton Siva.
Where's the offense come from?
Peyton Siva.
Where's the
He's
offense
gonna
come
move
from?
the ball, cutters to the lane.
26% shooter last season. Where's the offense come from?
He's not gonna have to.
I like Russ. I'm a big Russ
guy.
guy.
Like 12 assists a game, probably.
That's good.
I mean,
but I don't see that either. My question is, when Kentucky and Louisville face each other on November 20th, November 29th.
Grind your hand into your
ground and pound.
Urgh.
November 29th, 4 p.m. The Twin Towers of Willie Cauley-Stein and Nerlens Noel will be shutting down the Gorgie of Zhang.
The Gorgie of Zhang. No, it's going to be awesome, honestly. I went to the red-white scrimmage the other day, and I saw Montrezl
I don't like taking much out of that.
I was like, wow,
He's
this
a monster.
guy is really aggressive.
I told you he'd start middle of the season over Bohannon. I told you that months ago.
I don't know if he'll do that, but I tell you what,
he's going to start at the beginning of the season, obviously.
They want to run the offense through that guy. And I'm like, wow, why, like this is like really impressive to me, because you can be in a scrimmage and you can get some putback dunks and things like that, but they're running the offense through Montrezl Harrell, which I thought was like crazy. And I mean, obviously they had segmented teams, but I thought he outplayed Shane in that game. I know Shane outplayed him in the
I think Shane
game.
Bohannon's head is already in the NBA. He can't wait to get out of college. I'm sorry. I mean, when you start the season, when you're in the off season, you're told one more you're going to get, something's going to happen, and it happens again. Come on, man. You got a free ride to a great university playing for the top program, a great coach. Man up for 2 years and grow some cojones.
I can't get a feel for Shane Bohannon's mentality right now because they're not going to let him interview him until January.
And that's very true. Which is, if you remember the interviews from Shane last year, he was entertaining. The Celtics-Lakers matchup. That was funny.
Man,
I mean,
I was looking
good.
forward to interviewing Shane all. Now we're just going to have to interview Russ Smith
which is no problem.
Russ Gorgie, done.
I mean, or is this the horse or the actual people?
Oh, yeah, we'll also get Siva in there for the horse trifecta. That's your Derby trifecta. Siva,
I do want to mention this. Totally off topic, totally off Louisville, Kentucky. My man, Kelly Patrick, and Fat Day. His family has a horse, Fat Day. We talk about him occasionally on Sunday, and he won a race last night. He is now paid for himself. Fat Day is doing things.
Wow, that's amazing. And
back to Louisville.
I was going to say on a personal note, I just want to say I'm really happy for Ethan Moore's family. He's a host on ESPN 680. His father woke up from brain surgery after several weeks out, so we're praying for him and his family. Made my day yesterday to hear that, he opened up his eyes.
Are you friends with them? Are you family know
Very
him?
good friends with Ethan and a supporter of what they do over there at Louisville Sports Live. But, man, it just made my day because it put sports in perspective to say, look, this is not everything. This is family.
Oh, yeah.
And just happy for him.
Us here at KentuckySports.co and thecardsandcats.com, we are friends of everybody.
We really are. Because we're like, hey, we're all telling the same story.
Yeah,
and
just hang out.
You're a part of it, and we're all kind of authors of the same deal.
We're just here, living your life. We're here living your life, right?
Pretty much.
I'm glad you brought up kind of that. I don't know how to kind of brought this up, but Lorenzo Malden, sad. Could this be bad?
It could be. I talked to him after the game. I was on the field when he got carted off. He was in tears. Lorenzo Malden, man, I mean, I hate to say this about a guy, but football's his life. If you know his background, you know that he grew up in 17 foster homes. He's been passed around. He committed to South Carolina.
He's a future Sunday player, too.
Right, but he committed to South Carolina, and then they said that they didn't want him. So a guy went 17 foster homes, then commits to a college that he gets to choose. They say, we don't want you.
That's old balls, coach.
Football is his home. This is his family, and
I hope he gets back.
And he said he's going to have to get an MRI today to find out.
Let's hope for good news. If anybody says yes, The Cardinal got hurt, or yes, a Kentucky guy got hurt. You're just stupid.
Right, because
you're stupid.
You don't know what these individual human beings
I hope you
put
get hurt.
in.
How about that?
Yeah, and nobody wants, like, why would you want somebody to get hurt?
Yeah.
Like,
can you not win with them? Can you not beat them regularly?
Like today, I hope James Franklin's healthy for Missouri because, you know what, I want Kentucky to beat a fully healthy Missouri team.
Well, no, I'm totally joking.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want James Franklin to
I just
work
want Kentucky
all
to win.
year and not be able to play in a game.
We got about 30 seconds left on that game, Mark. What's your score?
I think Kentucky wins 24-13.
I don't think it's going to get a much higher scoring game as well. I'm right there with you. I'm thinking 17-21 Cats in a close one. It's going to be coming down to that last drive.
Double digits.
Kentucky's going to win this game. Me and Mark both said it. You listen right here to the Weekend Sports Buzz. It's been a good show. We thank Scott Davenport for calling straight from practice, the Bellarmine head coach, straight from practice. We're talking about practice.
Practice, man.
Practice.
That's a game.
That's what practice is about. Practice. And, of course, Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine. Mark, I'll be seeing you next Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Every Saturday, 9 to 11
We're
right
on
here.
location next week, right?
I don't know.
Oh,
Louisville home?
Louisville's home?
Louisville's home. We'll be on location. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.